Hi, my name is Laura Holliday. I am the new high school director here at BelPres, and I am so excited to be part of this community and to be talking with you today about Daniel 12. We are at the very end of our Daniel series, and I know that we have loved being able to walk through this book with you. In Daniel 12, it's a part of Daniel's vision or dream that starts back in chapter 10 and goes all the way through the end of the book of Daniel. I noticed a couple of things while I was reading the chapter. First, there was a theme of waiting and a theme of not understanding. And in the passage, it says that one of the men in Daniel's vision or dream asks the man clothed in linen, how long until we get to see these things happen? How long? And I know that waiting can be hard. I know when I'm watching a movie that gives me a little bit of anxiety or like a drama or something, I just want to know what happens at the end. I want to fast forward and see the end of the movie so then I feel more comfortable while I'm watching it, so that I'm not as stressed, I'm not as nervous as I'm watching these action scenes. And I think it's interesting to notice how it's being honest about asking, I want to know the end. I want to know the end of how the season is gonna play out. And we don't always get that. In fact, the man clothed in linen responds, and then Daniel actually says, I heard that, but I didn't get it. I didn't understand any of that. And I think that it's so interesting that Daniel can be honest with himself, that I didn't understand that. I heard you speaking, but I still didn't understand that. And God doesn't get mad at Daniel for not understanding, but instead he tells him to keep going. Just keep going. And then also he says, blessed are those who wait. And then he says a certain number of days that ties back into the rest of the chapter. But I really think that's really interesting to say, blessed are those who wait, especially after Daniel says, I don't understand. I don't get it. He says, blessed are those who wait. We might not understand what's going on or why we have to keep waiting, but the call for Daniel, the call for us is to be faithful, to keep walking forward, even if you don't understand, even if you don't understand why you're having to wait so long, and being honest about that with God, being honest about how you're feeling about that, because God wants to hear your honest feelings, wants to hear your honest prayers. As we close out our Daniel reading plan, we can take a couple things away. We can be honest with God in our prayers, and that God is faithful with us in our waiting times. And with those things, we can take those and keep moving forward in faith.